HRM functions. Now, in your own organization, looking at what is on the screen now, what are the major functions in your own HRM department? You can feel free to unmute and let's discuss in a moment. You can highlight the ones that you think in your organization as a HR person, these are the ones we do, these are the ones we do. We have not done this one, we have not done that one. So which ones have you been doing and which ones have you not been doing as a HR person or the HR in your organization? Please feel free to unmute. Let's have the discussion. Yes, Mr. Manuel, you can go ahead.
Okay, can I speak?
Yes, you can speak.
Okay, in my own organization, I think it has been more of training and development, okay, and a little of compensation and benefits. Okay. Yeah, those are the major aspects of the functions that my own organization has been busy for a while.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, Mrs. Favor, which one has your organization been more into?
We're into so many of this. Of course, employee engagement. We started that, yeah. Health and safety.
Okay.
Workforce planning, we have our strategic plan, that we do. We have our performance management, which was introduced sometimes last year.
Okay.
And we are still on that, we are doing so many things here. But, we just touch. Training and development is also there, and all that. So we are doing a lot.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Nabot, which one has your organization been doing?
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good day. I know you're not joining from Nigeria. So where you're joining
from? No, I'm joining from Uganda.
Okay, so you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, we have always done a lot. But the most functions that we have been always engaged in is recruitment and selection,
okay,
training and development,
okay,
performance management,
okay,
and compensation and benefits. Mostly those ones. But even these other ones have not touched. We have always touched them there and there. But these ones are the major we have always involved in.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your contributions. Now, from all of what we've said, we can agree that HRM is a going concern. It doesn't have a full stop. It's a going concern. So today you are here, but you want to get better. Tomorrow you get into another concept. Another time you get into another. The more the need arises, you have no option than to adapt and then adopt the best strategies at those points. Now, the functions is amplified on the screen does not make HRM functions exhaustive. No, HRM functions are inexhaustible. They are inexhaustible. Even as we are sitting here now, there are HRM functions that are brewing. So if you look at what we have here, we have workforce planning, which we can also consider strategic planning because that would be a strategic work. Now we have what we call the employee experience management, but it's not here, but is also part of what we have now. We have people analytics, and it's also HRM function. Maybe by the time we get to the emerging dimensions of HRM, you will see that there are actually new functions that are not here. So more of these functions we've exemplified here is more like the primary functions. But in the today's current workforce, there are, what do you call it now? There are newer functions coming up. The introduction of data science is dislodging every other management function. It's making sure that it finds its way in management operations. The introduction of artificial intelligence is also making sure. So with time, we'll have HRs that will be, maybe we'll have HR engineers. Okay, maybe we'll have HR engineers, people that are into HR robotics and the whole lot. Okay, so there are quite a number of things coming on board. Okay, coming on board HR. But by default, what we can see on screen are the primary things that as a HR we expect you to be able to carry out: recruitment and selection, compensation and benefits, compliance, succession planning, HR information system, training and development, employee relations, health and safety, HR strategy, diversity and inclusion, performance management, employee engagement, organizational development, workforce planning, and employee well-being. Recruitment and selection. Remember, we have the 4 R's. I asked you to write them down. Please don't forget them, the 4 R's. The right people at the right place, at the right time, at the right cost. So by the right people at the right place, we're talking about the right placement, the right job, putting the right people in the right job. All right. Then we'll have the right time. Okay. And then having the right cost. To help us achieve this, we need recruitment and selection department or recruitment and selection unit to help us with this. That's their major role. Then we have the compensation and benefits. Like I stated earlier, in some organizations that are much more complex, they have the human resource department. Some have it as administrative and the human resource department. Different names they give it, but you always see either admin and human resource somehow. Okay, all right. So under them, they have also what we call the unit responsible for compensation and benefits. So those ones are responsible for drafting the calculated wage to be paid, the benefits, the wages, the salaries, everything that has to do with remuneration. They deal with that. And they deal with it in compliance with the law. In compliance with the law. So if the law says minimum wage is, let's say, 100,000 Naira for a case, I'm using Naira as a case, okay? Now, if it says it's 100,000 Naira, what it means is that the Compensation and Benefits Administration unit will make sure that whatsoever thing they are reviewing will be in line with that compliance. And then we'll also have the people who call the Legal and Compliance Department. Their own is more like audit, right? They enforce compliance, they audit compliance, they make sure that HR internal controls are in order. And in most cases, they are the one that interface with the external labor unions. I hope you get that. Then you have the succession planning. Every organization wants to continue their assignment. So succession planning, why is a little distinct from workforce planning, is that succession planning deals more with talent management. So we are building people for the future. But workforce planning is talking about what we require in our organization. So succession planning deals more with leadership development or management development. Workforce planning deals more with finding out the job roles within the organization and develop, getting the right people to fit them, okay, or to fix into them. So succession planning maintains continuity and sustainability in the organization. They have the HR information system. Example of HR information system, you have the performance management system that captures your HR information as regards to performance. Then you also have the general HRIS that covers everything about your human resource management, everything about your human resource. Like I said earlier, we will download maybe just one, or maybe we'll download 2. For the sake of this class, we'll download 2, but we'll use 1. We'll explain the basics for the both. So it's now left for you to choose which one you will use. Please note, we will only use demos. We only use demo versions of the software. If you want to apply anyone to your organization, you feel free to subscribe accordingly. All the information will be available by the providers, and then you can subscribe and make the most use of it. Then training and development. one of the aspects I love about HR is training and development. And this also, one of the aspects of HRM is ease of specialization. Okay, so you hear people that say they are HR outsourcing consultants. That means they focus their work on recruitment and selection. Then you hear those that tell you that they are into compensation and benefits. They talk to you about how to pay your staff, how to come up with metrics to determine payment yardstick and all of that. And they will guide you and provide you the necessary support. That's their specialization. Then you have those that are also into compliance, legal and labor matters. So if you have any situation, they are ready to take your matter to anywhere. Then you have those who provide you with strategic HR consulting, like succession planning, workforce planning, HR strategy, and all of that, right? Then you have those who also provide you with the IT, HR information system, and every other technology required for your HR, both the hardware and software, all right? But we also have those we call the management development experts or the human capital managers. Their work most often is people development. So as a HR, you're in a complex organization, as it were, an integrated organization. You could be in the training and development department. You could be in the compensation department. You could be in the promotion and review department, performance department, as the case may be. So there is also a unique field of HR called training and development. And in IIPM, as a case, we have a certification dedicated to those in training and development certification. So that's to tell you how important that is. And I'm sure there are also certifications given to those who want to go into HR consulting. Most often they will ask you, apart from your HR certification, you should be able to get maybe a certification like a certified management consultant course to assist you with consulting benefits, all right? Or consulting to give you the knowledge about consulting so that you can now know how to integrate your HRM domain to your business domain, in this case, the consulting perspective. Then you also have the employee relations. Employee relations, employee engagement, industrial relations, and all of them in the same place. Then you have the health and safety. Before now, we don't talk about health and safety, as it were, but it has become a paramount column in organizational structuring and organizational planning. In fact, as it were, it has become a strategic imperative for people management. People don't want to just come, get injury, die like chicken, and all of that. I was listening to a program recently. They call it, this program? What is this program? Ordinary President. Brekete Family. Yeah. I listened to this program on Brekete Family of an employee who brought the case there, who claimed he had an accident and spent about 7 months in the hospital, and the organization did not for once care to come and know where he is. And they brought the case to Brekete Family. Now, if that case is escalated, that organization is going to pay through their nose. If the staff is truly a confirmed staff, and then he passed through that particular scenario as he claims, and he goes to industrial court or now comes to labor affiliates like that of the Brekete Family, the person is sure to get, he will get first of all, he will get all his salaries for the time being. He will get every claim that he claimed because he said the case was reported, but nobody cared from the organization to come and see. And these are health and safety matters. We have the advent of HMOs everywhere now, health maintenance organizations, okay? Government has even promulgated that every organization should have HMO that attends to them. These are part of health and safety programs. They will have the HR strategy, diversity and inclusion. In case of diversity and inclusion, there is also a going concern. Going concern in the sense that organizations are becoming much more global. Okay, apart from our native cultural backgrounds, which we must manage as country, as a nation, we also have organizations now paying attention to global business environment. That means you can be a South African hiring somebody from China, and you can be a Nigerian hiring somebody from Ghana, and you can be a Ugandan hiring somebody from UK. That diversity need to be managed. That diversity need to be managed. Okay. Then you have the performance management. Like I said, reward is strictly tied to performance. All of the things we are discussing here, they are all interwoven. There is no one that is independent of itself. They are all interwoven. Okay, they are all interwoven. And as the course progresses, you see how they all how they are interwoven and how they play their interdependent roles to each other. Then you have the employee engagement, organizational development. Okay, the employee engagement. Remember, we talked about the human relations, that the human resource came as a result of the human relations theory, right? So the human relations theory focuses more on people-centric approach to management. So the employee engagement is telling you that you shouldn't do everything as a top management person, do everything from top management. People at all levels of management should be included, from the security man at the gate to the CEO at the topmost, to the board members, to the council members. Everybody need to have their say. Okay. You know what happened recently? For those of us in Nigeria, what happened recently? The introduction or the reaffirmation of the old national anthem. Okay. It was done from the top echelon. I'm sure none of us here had the privilege of finding out what exactly was the reason behind this. There was no public hearing. There was no public request. Okay. The last time I ever heard of a confab was in the time of Goodluck Jonathan. That we had a confab where the citizens were given, there was a conference, and the citizens were given the privilege of attending the conference and then making their input as far as the constitution is concerned and all of that. And we saw different amendments that came afterwards. Okay, we saw the 2014 amendments to the constitution, different amendments that came afterwards. So if you now talk about citizenship engagement, okay, if you talk about citizenship engagement, which is also, in this case, we talk about it in terms of public administration, but it's also human relationship management or human resource management. Okay, whether we call it public administration or we call it human resource management, the difference is just on the confines of one is to a larger community and the other one is within an organization. Okay, so the HRM is within organization based, and public administration is broader in context. So it focuses on the nation and more often beyond the nation. All right. So in employee engagement, we are not just focusing on just the people at the top. Is everybody's concern. Is everybody's concern. Then you have organizational development. So organizational development also deals with the change management within the organization, how organizations evolve over time. Okay. So for instance, Dangote Group didn't just wake up as Dangote Group. What has been their evolution journey? Cadbury didn't just wake up as Cadbury and they became an international organization at once. What was their evolution like? What was their development cycle like? For instance, OPay didn't come out as OPay and became a financial institution, grabbing the financial industry by storm. It didn't just come out like that. OPay has their own development cycle. It will shock you that if you begin to look at the development cycle of most organizations, they've actually passed across industries. So some started with transport, some started their business in the transport industry. Today, they ended up in the food industry. Some started in the food industry. Today, they are in the telecom. Some started in agric. Today, they are in oil and gas. Those development cycles need to be understood. But you also need to understand that this journey of understanding the development cycle is also a strategic discussion. Okay, is a strategic discussion. Okay, then you talk of the workforce planning, and I've talked about it in a bit. The workforce planning, though is strategic, but it deals more with fixing people, the right people, into the spaces within the organization. So it talks about the labor demand, what is our requirement in terms of labor? What do we need? And how can we get them? So labor demand, labor forecast, and labor supply. That's basically what the HR planning or workforce planning deals with. The labor demand in terms of what is the requirement, what is the labor requirement for us to achieve our organizational goals, and then the labor forecast, prediction of the labor that we need to achieve our organizational goals moving forward. Then labor supply, where do we get this labor from? Where do we get this labor from? And this also, in most cases, form a circle. So you see, from employment through promotions to becoming a top management personnel, you see you've done succession planning within. But that succession planning is going to be a function of the critic of those in the talent management unit to find out if this talent is really the best for us in this succession journey, or it has to stop at a point and then we'll find another one and fit in and things go that way. Of course, we also understand that in the organization, people come in and people go out. Okay, so the workforce plan also factors all of this inside and find a way to deal with them in the most strategic approach. Then we'll talk about the employee well-being. Why the health and safety talks about the health and providing the right environmental conditions for the people. The employee well-being talks more of the mental and psychological well-being of the people. The mental and psychological well-being of the people. So you have environment where people are not comfortable. Yes, they have all the ACs, they have all the work environment is okay, safety is okay, but mentally they are not okay. Maybe due to the kind of pressure that comes from the work, psychologically they are not okay. So how do you provide programs? How do you provide initiatives that will ensure that the employees are well taken care of? All right, okay. We have discussed the HRM functions. Do you have any question? Any question for me? Any concern? Do you have any question? If you have any question, please, you can unmute. If you have any contribution, feel free to unmute and share.
Thank you, Mr. Haido.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please. I'm thinking, I think I didn't get the employee relations.
Okay,
Is it the same thing with employee well-being?
Okay, this is a good
I
question.
don't know. Is it the same thing or what? I don't know.
Okay. So employee relations, though it has a little of employee well-being, but is also distinct. Employee relations most often deals with how communication is being carried out within the organization, the relationship that exists in the structure. So when we now discuss organizational structure, we discuss employee relationships or relationship, forms of relationship. We have what we call the line and staff relationship. The line relationship talks about the relationship between the HR manager or perhaps the management and the employees, the kind of relationship that flows. Of course, we understand that that kind of relationship will influence the behavior of both the employees and the employers. That's for line. Then we also have the one we call the staff. The staff relationship talks about the introduction of specialized roles or advisory roles in management. So what would be the impact of the relationship of specialist roles, maybe of managers or the employees? That's also a relationship that we'll also discuss. So the employee relations, while it in a way may want to talk about well-being, but more often it talks about the kind of relationship that is imparted on the organizational structure and how it impacts on both the individuals, that's the employees, and the employers. Okay. Does it make any sense to you?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Nabot, your hand is up. Please feel free to unmute and ask a question.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask whether during the course of our classes, we shall have a chance to look at HR information systems in detail. because it's a little technical and practical. Shall we have a chance to look at it in much more detailed sense? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Like I said earlier, the HR information system will give us options to download different softwares. Okay, so while we are dealing with it theoretically, we'll also deal with it practically. So the software that we will be providing, please note the software is not our property or is not our own. It's another organization that owns the software. We don't know them in terms of relationship. We don't have any relationship with them. They are available there on the web. So anybody from anywhere can access their services, just the way we are accessing Zoom and using it. So as by tomorrow, we will inform us about those software, and then we will download them. And then as we progress, we will now be looking at the setting up of the information system and how it works. And then you can then look at how it adapts and applies to your own organization. So we understand that it's technical, but we work through it. We work it out all through together. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Any other question or concern? Question, comment? Okay, please, if I should proceed, kindly type 1 in the chat room. If I should proceed, please kindly type 1 in the chat room. Okay, I'm waiting for a response. Maybe you're still.
Sorry, we didn't get that. You said what?
If I should proceed, if there is no further question I want me to proceed, please kindly type 1 in the chat room.
Oh.
Yeah, just type 1 in the chat room. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. So thank you, Mr. Naboth. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go to the next agenda here, which is the emerging. They call it emerging or emerging? Okay, emerging HRM functions. We've talked about just the default HRM function. Now, what are the emerging HRM functions? And even in this emerging HRM function, we didn't cover all of it. Now we have the business and strategic partner, HRM manager working as a business and strategic partner. And this is where I will want every one of us to leverage. Now, if you are someone that already have network here, I mean, you have quality relationship in terms of you have quality relationship with other organizations. You can leverage the opportunity of business and strategic partner. So you are a partner to an organization providing HR support to their organization, but you're not a staff, you're a partner. Most often we call it HR consulting. Okay, and it won't stop you from working wherever you want to work. So you can do that with as many organizations as you think you have the time to support. All right. So the HR managers under the business and strategic partner, they contribute to the development of the organization, realization of business plans, and achievement of objectives. Okay. Now you have the change champion. This is also another important area where HR professionals are also, they have most of the prospects. Now the change champion here, we are not just talking about policy changes, regulatory changes and all of that. You also have one of the major changes is the technological change. So somebody just asked me about the HR information system. That is a change. Some HR professionals specialize in that area, and they can literally configure every aspect of HRM in the HR information system. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So those ones, they don't just, we have change agents that do advocacy, policy change and all of that. But we also have those that they don't have anything to do with policy, but the changes they manage and introduce can lead to policy change. So you can find the ones. For me, I think for now, the major driver in that change champion is technology. It's technology. Okay, so in the technology value chain, sub-value chain of the HRM, you can then try to find out where to fit yourself. Are you going to be in the form of knowledge transfer? Are you going to be in development of HR systems? Are you going to be wherever you find yourself? Just find somewhere and fit yourself. Okay. You have the employee advocate. Okay. I was telling somebody, was it yesterday or so? I said, I need to go and take a course on cyber security and data protection. Cyber security and data protection. Do you know why? Because that is part of the change happening now in the HR environment. Some people are taking courses in data analytics, data science, because now, whether we like it or not, moving forward, everything has to be performance-driven. And being performance-driven means that it has to be data-driven. And being data-driven simply means we need to know where to collect the data, how to analyze the data, how to manage the data, interpret the data, and all of that. Okay, so these are very, very important areas. Okay, then we have the employee advocate. Like I said, we have those who advocate for policies, regulations to make sure that the work environment is good. Okay, and this is also a very wonderful area. But if you ask me, you can find yourself in all of them. If you ask me, you can find yourself why your niche is just on one. As a HR business partner, you have the opportunity to sell the change you're bringing in. And as a HR business partner, you have the opportunity to advocate for certain policies and certain regulations to be amended to suit the change that is coming into the work environment. I hope you get what I mean. Okay, so this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Okay, as we proceed, if you have any question, please feel free to call my attention and then we deal with that. Now, the scope of HRM. The scope of HRM is not limited. Okay, what does HRM cover? It's not limited. You have training and development, industrial relations, hiring, grievance handling, HR planning, rewards and recognition, payroll management, legal procedures, several other things. So it's not limited. Okay, just as the way human beings, human behaviors are not limited. The scope of human resource management is not limited. Now, I would like us to take a 5 minutes break. And then when we come back, we will look at HRM process groups. We'll take a 5 minutes break. At exactly 5 minutes, we'll be back with HRM process groups. Thank you and see you in the next 5 minutes.